guys, welcome back to my channel where I talk about knitting stuff and yarn, and that's pretty much it. I haven't done a video in a while because I don't know, I want to say I've kind of been in a knitting slump lately, but I think that's really been just in the last couple weeks because lately I've just not been feeling like doing anything. But I do have some finished objects and some whips that I would like to show off just as a casual catching up sort of episode. Nothing too exciting, but all of my FOs are hats, unsurprisingly, so I will just start with those. Also, you may notice that my lighting is a little different. That's because my friends Laura and Arminda at Kindful Knits, they gave me a ring light, which was just so sweet of them to do. I didn't ask for anything, and one day I'm just like, wow, you guys have a nice light. I think it was actually while I was doing a podcast episode with them. Like, wow, I like that light. Where'd you get it? Was it expensive? I was asking them questions about it, and they're like, shh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And so apparently they had been wanting to surprise me with one because I'd been kind of complaining a little bit about my lighting, because I tend to do these episodes like in the evening. Like right now it's like 10 p.m. Pacific, because my husband works at night and sleeps during the day, and I work during the day, so that's just kind of how it works out. But anyways, I'm hoping that the lighting will improve the quality of my videos, which I can see right now it looks a lot better, so that'll be nice. But anyways, on to my FOs, which honestly I've been having such a time with hats lately, mostly making them too small because I'm scared of running out of yarn and then being like, wow, this doesn't fit me, and then I remake it. So this is and I'm really actually proud of this hat. This is a just 2x2 rib hat I made out of my friend Savannah's yarn. And honestly, I can't remember if I showed this off already. I had used this yarn for something else and decided I wanted to change it up and ripped that out, frogged it, made this hat with it, and the yarn looked really, really noodly because I had frogged it, but then once it blocked it just looked perfect. But the only problem with this hat is that it's a little too short, so when I put it on my head it just like is on my head, and then there's a little point, so it makes me look like my head is a pumpkin. So I'm trying to brainstorm how I want to fix that, because I don't know, I'd feel really bad about frogging this. I was thinking maybe I can like, and this would be really annoying, but I could like pick up stitches along the cast on edge here and just continue like to extend the ribbing so I could fold it or something. I don't know. If someone thinks of a solution, let me know, because I don't want to frog it, but if at the end of the day I do need to, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's my first FO. This next one is a test knit I did for my friend Taylor Rutledge, who also goes by Needle Fox Arts. This is the, I'll try to say it right, dicotyledon hat. I'll put the word up on the screen and probably also the pronunciation. It's a kind of flower, I believe, which is why we're getting these really pretty sort of flowery stitches here. And this yarn is actually the yarn that I won from my friends over at Kindful Knits, because they do giveaways almost every episode, I think. And this was I think this is the one-off colorway for the Oregon Fiber Arts. Oh gosh. Oregon Flock and Fiber. I'm tired. Oregon Flock. I said it right the first time. Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival. Yes. I believe this is the one-off colorway. And I had a lot of fun with this pattern, so I highly recommend it. And it was actually kind of a fun challenge to try out this new stitch, which I'd never tried before, and it was pretty easy. It was like a little bit fiddly, but if you have good tension, I think it shouldn't be much of a problem. So anyways, that's my next one. And because I have memory issues, I'm probably showing this off for the second time, so bear with me. I have ADHD. This is my finished sample for my Good Bean hat pattern. This is the sample that I wear. Yeah, not much to say about it. I mean, I wore it today at work and it's very warm. I used Plymouth, is it Homestead? I think that's the name of the yarn. Again, I will put corrections on the screen if I get any of these wrong. But I just felt like I wanted a staple gray beanie because that's kind of just where my wardrobe has been at lately, aside from pops of like deep colors. Like, oh, this looks so good with the new lighting. One of my favorite shirts. But yeah, I've been wearing a lot of gray lately, so this has been a staple for me, and highly recommend the pattern because it's mine, but also it works up really quickly and it'll go with everything. So I'll put it in the description. And then my last FO is another hat that I made too small, which is too bad because it's really cute. But it's I forget the name of the pattern, but this is with my friend Savannah's yarn in her Nightmare Before Christmas colorway. And this was a really fun pattern to work up because I'd never done like a slip stitch kind of pattern like this. This is made with like pearl slip, I believe. The bigger bands here, and then these are just garter stitch bands. And this is a free pattern I'll link down below. It's just I didn't make it big enough. I will say there weren't any size instructions on the pattern besides cast on more stitches to make a bigger hat. So just probably a gauge swatch might have helped me out here, but I don't usually do a gauge swatch for hats. So I don't know, I really like this yarn and I want to use it for something that I will wear. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is frogging this, unfortunately, and making a different hat, which I've been doing a lot this year and I think late last year as well. Just yarn that I really, really want to hold on to and use for a garment that fits me, but finding that I keep screwing up and making hats that are too small. So, but the flip side of that is that I'm getting more time to work with that yarn and more time on easy mindless projects, which is kind of what I've been craving lately, like maybe another raglan sweater or something like that. But with that in mind, I will transition onto my FOs, my whips, which are really not mindless projects, ironically, but they are projects that are important to me. So I'm going to show them off. And actually I do have a sort of mindless whip. This is a child's hat that I knitted up a few days ago, and nothing special about it, but I am going to be adding bear ears. So it'll be like a little teddy bear hat. Probably not going to add eyes or anything like that. I think that's where I'm going to stop. But yeah, I'm making this for a friend's toddler, which should fit them for at least a few years. And I'm using Lion Brand Wool Ease. And actually this is some of the yarn that I was planning to use for my folklore cardigan for the stripes at the bottom, and I should still have enough because I think I had one skein, and this used way less than one skein. So yep, should have enough there. Let's see what's the next thing I want to show off here. It's all tangled up. I almost finished this one mitten, which will obviously be a pair. but I had to make it a lot longer than the pattern called for because my fingers are just ridiculously long. So you'll see it reaches just a little bit past my middle finger, but when you pull it off, it looks like what human hand will fit in this mitten. I don't know, apparently mine. And I'm just using Tin Can Knits basic mitten pattern. Don't remember the name of it right now, but the yarn I'm using for this, I actually have it. This is my Griz wool I got from Oregon Flock and Fiber Festival. I call it Griz wool because that's the name of the sheep, and I don't know, I was really drawn to this deep chocolatey brown color, which hopefully comes through okay with the new lighting. It's showing up a little bit bright on the camera right now, but anyways, I just thought it would be the perfect color for a pair of mittens or something like that. And this is actually a whole different skein. This is the one I'm working with right now, so should be able to give me either another pair or I don't know. I just want to make something special and that I will wear probably next winter. There, my cat I have this on an office chair. The next thing I will show is a pattern I'm currently designing for a hat. My husband said he wanted a hat with like cabling around the brim, and so I started thinking of different ideas for the construction, and right now I'm trying out making like a cabled band. And I don't know if it would be made to measure or just standard sizing. I think it'd be cool to give instructions for both because I know that maybe someone who's a beginner wouldn't want to try to measure and get it right that way. So standard sizing I think would help in that way, but if someone is more experienced and wants to make it as custom as they want to make it, then they can do that as well. But yeah, I'm making this band, and you can see the really pretty kind of narrow cabling I'm doing right here. It's going to go around the brim all the way, and I'm going to stitch that together at the end here so it makes like a circle, and then I'm going to pick up stitches all around and finish it like a hat. This one I'm going to make slouchy because that's what my husband wants, but I think in the standard pattern, well, no, I think in the standard design, I think I'm actually going to make it slouchy, but I'll have a tassel at the end, so it'll kind of, come back a little bit like this, slouch, and then you'll get a cute little tassel behind your head. But I don't know, I might include instructions as well for different shapes. Maybe I'll make it a really highly customizable pattern. But that's where I'm at. That's where I'm with that, and I'm using this is Malabrigo Rios, I think, and I do not remember the colorway. This is what it looks like. Kind of a brown with like a yellow undertone, if that's the right word. I'm not a color theory person. On to my project bag, which has the things I'm working on the most right now. So I'll start with another one of my own designs. And I'm using 2 strands for this project. So these are both the same colorway of my friend Savannah's yarn. This is the mohair, this is the sparkly sock for, I think it's the one of the Nightmare Before Christmas like collection colorways based on the Christmas door. When Jack is kind of outside of Halloween Town, looks around at all the doors, and you see the Christmas tree door. And I'm making sort of a shawl. Everything's tangled. This is what I get for leaving projects for a long time. But that's what I have so far. You can see that I've got like stockinette sections, and then I'm doing this really cool lace pattern I found where it kind of looks geometric. It's kind of what I was going for, and some of the inspiration behind making this shawl was I've been wanting to make patterns based off the movie The Dark Crystal, and so I was looking at the outfits or the robes and stuff like that that the mystics wear, and I saw a lot of circles and swirls and stuff, and I thought it would be kind of hard to put swirls in a shawl, but yeah, I saw these like geometric circles, and I thought that'd be perfect. And then at the end I'm going to be putting like, I'm probably going to be doing like a picot bind off and then tassels to make it kind of look a little bit extra. But that's what I wanted from the very beginning. And there's another technique that I'm going to use that you'll just have to see because it'll be cool. And the last project that I want to show off that I'm working on, and this is the one that I've probably been working on the most, is my mini mock neck tank by Jessie Made Designs. And I am just obsessed with this sunshine yellow. I'm not sure that it's really coming across. I don't know, it's okay. It's a little bit deeper than what you're seeing. I think this angle kind of shows the deeper oranges that you get with this yarn. But this is my friend Savannah's yarn, once again, in one of her Suspiria colorways. If you haven't seen Suspiria, it's a horror film from the 1970s that got remade, I believe, in 2018. Like, I guess remade, not really, more like reimagined. Still haven't seen the new one, but I've heard it's good. So I was really captivated by this yellow, and I thought I need to make like a new favorite summer garment with it, and I've been really wanting to make the mini mock tank, and so I did it. And this is gosh, this base is actually really nice. It's like it's a single ply, so the stitches can look kind of irregular if you're really paying attention, but I kind of like how that looks, and I know that a lot of that will resolve after blocking because my tension is pretty even. But yeah, I'm really excited to keep going with this, and I've only done, I think, one other like full project in fingering, and that was the outline tee, and this pattern is, I would say, equally as interesting and easy to follow, which I really like. So far I'm a really big fan of Jessie Made Designs, not to mention how many sizes she offers. It's a lot. So yeah, that's all I've got, really. I mean, my knitting life right now is kind of uninteresting because I haven't felt like knitting as much as I have in months past, or like last summer. And that's okay. I'm trying to be easy on myself and not make myself feel guilty like I have before. Like, I remember being a teenager and getting into knitting slumps, and some of those knitting slumps would last years, which I don't think is going to happen anymore just because of how much I've gotten into the knitting community at this point, and how many projects I did last year and that I'm still doing, and how much inspiration I get. And anyways, I used to get into really, really long bad slumps, and I'd make myself feel guilty about it, but that's not really a good thing. So knitting's meant to be a fun, relaxing activity. Like, there's no obligation to finish anything. There's no obligation to give anyone anything. That's like a big thing with me. I don't want to get stepped on or be too much of a people pleaser. Sorry. I don't want to be too much of a people pleaser, but I also want to balance that with enjoying gift giving. So yeah, I'm just being patient with myself, and usually I've been picking up the needles more when I'm watching things, because I've also been playing a lot of video games, especially Ocarina of Time again. And actually that reminds me, there's another knitting podcaster who kind of talks briefly about what they're watching, what they're listening to at the moment. So I think I might incorporate that towards the end of my podcast, just for fun. So I guess I'll start with what I'm watching right now. I'm watching Lost. I've never seen it before. It was on when I was little, but I don't even think my mom watched it, so it wasn't in the house like Scrubs was, that 70s show, a few other shows that I'm more familiar with. And so far I've been really enjoying it. Like, at first I was like, I don't know about this. It didn't really hook me right away, but I really gave it a fair shot and found myself continuing to watch. And recently, like, things ramped up to a point where I'm like, wow, I actually really care about these characters. So, and that's where I want to be when I watch a show. I want to care about the people on screen. So that's what I'm watching right now. Listening to, I'll just go off of what I've been listening to for like the past few days. Ariana Grande released a new album, Eternal Sunshine, which I tried out and I actually really like it. So that's what I've been listening to. And I'm a really big fan of Ashniko, but lately I've been listening to her more, so that's always fun. And I'll include what I'm playing as well, because I'm a huge gamer. Elder Scrolls Online. It's been kind of petering out lately, but I get on to do some daily stuff sometimes, do a few quests, things like that. I'm replaying Oblivion for like the billionth time, and that's fun. It's always fun. It's probably my favorite Elder Scrolls game. And what else am I playing? I've been playing Mario Party, mostly 2 and 3 with my little brother, because we found a way to play Mario Party 1 through 3 online with an emulator, because we don't actually live in the same household. And that's been really fun and frustrating, but I love Mario Party, and if you play Mario Party, you have to take the whole package. You have to take the failures, the wins, the obvious NPC rigging and all that. It's a good time. I like to bond with my little brother. But and then the last thing I'll mention, I'm also playing Ocarina of Time again, which is probably my favorite Zelda game and one of my favorite games of all time. And I've only beat it once. I played it as a kid a lot, like a little kid, before I could actually beat it. Then I beat it when I was probably about 21, 22. Now, several years later, I'm going to play it again. And this time I'm playing version 1. Like, I'm playing on an emulator, but I made sure to download version 1 of the cartridge, because it includes a couple things that are different about the other versions, such as the Fire Temple music is different, and Ganon has red blood, which for some reason Nintendo was like, actually we should make it green. So they did, unfortunately. But anyways, that's what I've been doing with my life lately, kind of slowly trudging along on my knitting projects. I've got really big plans coming up at some point this year, like I'm planning to knit up a Nightmare Before Christmas vest before I hopefully, if I can afford it, go to Disneyland later this year with my 2 best friends. And that's probably the thing I'm most excited about, but I'm also really looking forward to finally finishing samples for my upcoming designs, which I can't promise when those will come out, if it'll even be this year. I'm in no rush, and I'm trying not to pressure myself in any way because I'm not trying to grow a business or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to become a big pattern designer. I'm just a person who really loves to come up with ideas, and now that I have a lot more skills than I did previously, I'm also really like to see those ideas come to life, as I've been showing you. And speaking of which, the very last thing I will say is that I actually ended up buying a book about knitting pattern design, the Knitting Pattern Writing Handbook by Christina McGrath and Sarah Wellworth. And I had seen this recommended to me. I don't recall from where. It might have been an Instagram post or something like that. But I decided to check it out, and as soon as I received it in the mail, I started flipping through, and I looked through every page and started bookmarking things, and like even just on that first flip through, I found so much helpful information, especially as someone who wants to design wearables like sweaters, and who is currently designing a sweater. So I'm hoping that will make my first sweater pattern not a nightmare, because it's gonna be like just a regular drop shoulder construction, seamed. It's not gonna be seamless. So I think it'll be pretty easy to do. It's just I get really paranoid about wanting everything to be right so people don't get mad. But anyways, yeah, so that's all I've got for today. I guess I haven't mentioned, if you ever have any questions or suggestions, or you see a problem I'm having with something I knitted and you want to give me advice, like, please definitely in the comments do that. And I will see y'all next time. Thank you for tuning into my podcast, which is about knitting and yarn and stuff. See you next time.